Hello everybody, my name is Chikirza and welcome to my art channel. Today I'm going to be painting in my sketchbook again. I'm continuing to work in my Canson Mixed Media XL sketchbook, and I've only got 2 more pages left in this sketchbook after this painting is done before I am completely finished. I have this Caribbean blue acrylic paint by Apple Barrel. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that this paint is super runny, and it has been since the day I've bought it. Now I know craft paint is normally runny, but look how runny this is. This is almost like water. It's still got a lot of pigment in it, but I do want to use it up because I'm not sure if this is just something wrong with the paint itself or what is going on. So I'm going to use this as the background color, the bottom layer. And then I'm going to dry it and bring you back when it's dry. Alright, now that everything's dry, I have this silicone mat. I picked it up at the dollar store, and it's actually meant to be used as a mat to place your glue gun on. I have this dark blue and a neon blue that I picked out, and I'm going to continue to work on that background a little bit. So starting off with the dark blue, I take my brayer and just roll it across the page. I'm looking for a quick, easy, simple background today again. That wasn't quite enough blue to get the coverage that I wanted, so let's add a little bit more. Now, one thing I find with this brayer, trying to use it in my sketchbook, is I can never seem to get paint right along the edge where the tape is on the page. So I thought, well, I'll just take my angle brush here and dab a little bit of paint along the edge there, as well as a couple of other places on the page, and try to brayer it out. But it didn't work, like, at all. So I tried to get rid of some of those little splotches, since the paint was still fresh, by just smearing some water over top of it. And it was working okay, but it was becoming a little tedious doing it. So my next thought was, let's try going over it with the brayer with the neon blue acrylic paint. But this neon blue is super transparent. I can't even see it. So let's add some white acrylic paint. And that's definitely showing up. However, I think that's a little bit too much white. But this will give a good opportunity for us to try the neon blue again. I'll do a layer of that over top of the white just to tone it down. Now I need to figure out something to do on the page, now that my background's all dry. I'm not really sure what I want to do on this page. I wanted to paint all week. So using my white Stabilo all pencil, I thought, well, maybe I'll do some sort of a weird cartoon character or a monster. I wasn't really sure, so I drew a couple of circles for the eyes. And decided I was going to do an orange monster, but after I got the paint on the paper, I was like, I don't know. Is this really what I want to do? Maybe I'll do some kind of weird funky ears or arms or something. What am I going to do for a mouth? I was completely lost here. I had no idea what I was going to do. This is what happens most of the time when I sit down to paint. I have no plan. That's why I always start with picking out colors most of the time first. So I abandoned the plan of doing some sort of a monster, and I thought, you know what, I'll figure out the facial features afterwards. Let's just paint the whole thing orange. So that's what I go ahead and do. I'm using an angle brush here, and I end up doing a couple of coats of this to get the coverage that I want. So once that's done and dried, I'll bring you back and we'll move on to the next step. All right, let's work on those ears things that I made. So using the watery blue acrylic paint that we used as the first layer on the background, I decided to fill in the middle areas with this runny blue acrylic paint, making sort of like gills or fins, because the background kind of reminded me of water. So let's make some sort of a fish type of monster creature. Yeah, let's go with that. So now, using the dark blue that we used on the background with the brayer, I decided I was going to do some sort of a mouth. But what does a cartoon fish mouth look like? I wasn't really sure. So I just drew some like big fat lips and made a little bit of a mistake there. So because the paint is still fresh, used a wet brush and just wiped away the extra paint from the mistake. And I was looking at the lips and going, is this really what I want? It looks kind of sad. Well, maybe it'll look better if I fill it in. So I filled in the inside of the mouth and then let it dry. All right, now that everything's dry, I'm looking at this again and I thought, no, that mouth looked like it was really kind of sad. And I don't really want to do something sad, but it still kind of reminded me of water, and I've got like these fins or gills coming off the side of the head or the body, or I'm not even sure at this point what I'm trying to make. Maybe I'll change this mouth into a bikini top. I can salvage this still. It doesn't have to be a sad face. So again, using the angle brush and the dark blue paint, I fill out the shape to become a bikini top. Again, I'm just making things up as I go along here. I have no plan at all as to what this is going to turn out to be like. So now that it's dry, let's do some eyes on this thing. But for whatever reason, I had it stuck in my head, I guess, of this sad smile. I don't know. I'm not feeling sad today, so I don't know what it is with the sad face and the sad droopy eyes. But apparently that's where I'm at right now. So let's just go with it. Fill in the whites of the eyes with the white acrylic paint and the same angle brush that I've been using for the rest of this painting. Maybe it's because I haven't painted all week. I've just been doing doodles in other sketchbooks and whatnot. And I've wanted to paint all week. Maybe that's what my issue is. So once the eyes were filled in, I decided to go back to the bikini top. And I was going to do some decorations around the top of it, like a pattern. And then I thought, no, maybe I could make this a mouth. Again, I'm flip-flopping all over the place. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do here. I had like a million ideas going through my head and I couldn't lock anything down. So I abandoned the mouth or the bikini top or whatever it was going to be and thought, you know what, maybe let's just finish off the eyes, see what that turns into, and then I'll figure out the mouth or the bikini top or add a mouth or a nose or whatever other features this thing's going to be. So I take the orange acrylic paint and mix it with a little bit of that dark blue acrylic paint just to get myself a darker shade for the eyebrows so that they'd stand out on the face. Looking at it now, doing this voiceover, I kind of wish that I had done the eyebrows in blue or made them just darker. Now, since I still had some more paint there, let's do a chin or the top of a belly. I don't know, I just felt like I wanted some more of that color on the page so it wasn't just random eyebrows. Okay, so maybe my issue is that I'm having issues mentally using the paintbrush because I haven't painted for a week now. So I grabbed my white acrylic paint pen and decide to make this a mouth after all. Let's do some teeth, do the tongue. Let's add another tooth over here. And you know what? I kind of want that tongue to be a little bit wider on this side. Now let's make the tongue an actual color now that I've blocked it in all with white. So I took this lavender or lilac type of color, acrylic paint, and again using the same angle brush, I'm just going to fill it in with the purple. Now those fins or gills coming off the side of the head, I felt like they needed to be defined a little bit more. And I've got this thing when I do cartoon characters that they always, as much as I don't want to do it, it's just something that I do. I always outline everything in black. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's a habit that I keep on trying to break because I see other cartoons that aren't outlined in black. And I think that this looked fine not being outlined. But the gills themselves needed to be defined a little bit more. So my solution was to outline it. But then once I started outlining anything in black, I kind of end up going overboard and outlining absolutely everything in black on the page, just to make it all look cohesive. Again, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just, I guess it's just a style. And I'd like to eventually get to the point where I can break out of that habit. But today is not the day. Outline the fin parts or the gills or whatever those are. And now I was enjoying using the paint pens. So I decided that this monster fish creature, I don't even know what it is. It needed something to be, because he looks like he's scared of something. So he needs something to be scared of. Well, what's something that is something that people are normally scared of? Maybe monsters are scared of them too. So I decided to draw a spider and doodled 8 legs off of it. And going back to the white acrylic paint pen, I do 2 big googly eye type of shapes on it. Now, I kind of feel like as if maybe it's not fair for it to just be a spider on the page. Maybe the spider needs to be holding something. Maybe the spider is offering something to the monster, or this fish monster. So I drew a heart. I drew the spider holding a heart and filled it in with the orange acrylic paint. Again, using the same angle brush that I've been using for the rest of this painting. And outlined it with my black acrylic paint pen. Let's do a couple of eyes on the spider looking at the fish monster. And a couple of eyes on the fish monster looking at the spider, or the heart that the spider is holding. Okay, so here's the final result. The monster is looking at the heart or the spider. Is it scared of the heart or the spider? I don't know. Or maybe it's afraid of love. You decide. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.